All right, fun times tonight here at Staples Center. Again, we'll see you on Sunday. For Stu and Mike, I'm Bill McDonald. So long. Final again, 95-80. Our next telecast is when the Raptors are in town. It starts at 6:30 on Sunday. Now let's check in with the studio for Access Sportsnet Lakers, driven by your Southern California Honda dealers.
So LeBron's streak of triple-doubles stops at 3, but the more important one, the wins, up to 7. 7 in a row for the Lakers. An efficient AD with 26, 11, and 17. Defense down the stretch was the calling card. A lot of turnovers for Miami that were forced, and that really has been the story as we bring you back here in our studios in Atlanta. Casey Stearns, Steve Smith, and how about Stan Van with us as well. Coach, defense obviously going to be the difference maker. It has been all the talk, Coach Vogel, all the way down to LeBron, and it was the difference late tonight, too.
No question. I mean, look, they held them to 80 points, 35%. Miami made one of their last 14, and they scored 34 points in the second half. There's no reason to expect that the Lakers are not going to continue this kind of defense. I mean, think of who they've got. Look at their starting lineup. Avery Bradley, Danny Green, LeBron James, 3 of the best perimeter defenders we've had in this league. Anthony Davis, always going to be a great shot blocker. Dwight Howard, one of the best defensive, a 3-time defensive player of the year. This defense is going to be outstanding all year. This is what teams are going to have to deal with if you're going to beat the Lakers.
And even on Tuesday, in a win where the first half against Chicago didn't go so well, they give up 32 in the second half because they clamped down. And we talk about the bigs. How are you seeing things work with JaVale, who starts the game, AD, and then we saw Dwight with the minutes too, Smitty?
Well, I think Vogel's doing a good job. He's starting JaVale McGee, and he fits, right away with those guys because he's a defender and he's a live guy. But then also they can still go to AD as a 5 by themselves. He has a lot of guys that he can have LeBron playing the 4. He can have Kuzma playing the 4. So I think he has a good mix, and he doesn't need to satisfy Dwight and JaVale McGee. They don't have to have big minutes, so he can mix and match. I'm looking forward to seeing how he implement Rondo and those guys in the second unit. But this team is going to be able to defend. It's going to come down to what can they do in a half court offensively in the playoffs.
Now, even though LeBron tied but then couldn't break that triple-double mark 3 in a row, every day a milestone for LeBron. 3rd player ever after tonight with 1,020-point games. Is that good? It feels like it's a lot. Here he is after the win with Mike Trudell.
All right, LeBron, after playing all that defense, you get to sit down for this interview here.
I know Coach Spo, coach teams, and they're going to play extremely hard. And if you don't play extremely hard, they're going to embarrass you. And we knew that. They came up a great win last night in Phoenix, and we knew they were going to give everything they had. They just played so hard. So it was a struggle again offensively for us, but we're going to hang our hats defensively, and that's what we did tonight.
I mean, you hold them to 14 points in that fourth quarter, 80 for the game. What was clicking defensively that's been there all season? It's been the number one scoring defense.
It's all about communication. When you communicate, even when you have breakdowns, you're able to make up for it because you're flying around and you're talking. And we did that once again tonight.
Fourth quarter came around. You got the offense going. You got a pair of threes, had 12 of the 14 points for your team. What were you starting to try to exploit with what they were doing on deep?
Just trying to be aggressive. Like I said, offensively wasn't one of the best ones we had tonight. We only scored 95 points, but I always felt like I got a pretty good hand. And my teammates got me open on some plays. AD hit me for a corner 3, and I just wanted to be aggressive and see if I can make them count.
Last thing for you, if I can zoom out now, 7-1 on the season. What has this start told you about this team?
We're very resilient, and throughout adversity, whatever, if it's during the game, we're able to calm our minds and just bounce back. We don't get rattled, and that's not common for a team that's been only together for a short period of time. But it's definitely a good trait to know that when things get tough on the floor, we're not making shots or returning the ball over. We're able to still be calm and still execute, and that's what we did.
Thanks, LeBron.
I appreciate it.
LeBron adds in a ho-hum quiet game 25, Davis 26. Now, we're going to go through all the highlights a little bit later and, Coach, talk about Porzingis and Doncic and some tag teams that have really kind of gotten it done than the rest of the team. Offensively on that side, are you seeing enough outside of the big 2 of AD and LeBron for the Lakers, despite the 7 straight wins?
No, I mean, offensively, I think Smitty touched on it, right? I mean, I don't know what you can count on with them in the half court other than those 2 guys, right? they're relying on their defense. Their defense you're going to be able to count on. That's why they're winning games right now. It's not because of their offense.
You know, the thing you love is, I think, you glue guys, grit. Watching Caruso play, the extension of plays, Smitty, diving on the floor. I mean, look, the number is 6 points, 4 assists, 3 boards, but he's in the middle of everything with that second unit. But do they have enough one-on-one talent in the second unit to score?
You know, and I think they will. I think if you have Kuzma as the scorer, if you have him and you have Rondo will be getting some guys some easier buckets from a point guard standpoint. You either can play, you can also play Quinn Cook and Rondo together and Caruso. Caruso can play some three in the second unit. There's not a lot of dominant threes that's going to overpower him. Then you have Kuz, who I think can play some four, and you have Dwight maybe at the 5 in that second unit. So I think they'll be good. I think Rondo will help those guys get some easier buckets.
You know, Miami, obviously, there's been a lot of talk about Jimmy Butler, but the team, well coached, as we know by Spo. Coach, they've played some good basketball. Really, when you look at them, though, the offensive side, I understand the Lakers, but there were some, to use the tennis term, unforced errors offensively by Miami late in this game as well.
Yeah, look, I mean, they struggle to get shots. Now, they've made shots this year. They came into the game. It's the number 1 3-point shooting team in the league. They didn't get that quality of shots tonight. They don't have a lot of guys outside of Jimmy Butler and Goran Dragic who are going to create shots for people. But they do play very well together. They play at a high energy level. They get out in transition, and they will defend.
You know, we talk about kind of where guys should be. Dragic, very different spot for him, Smitty. Different spots in his career in terms of location, but starting. Now coming off the bench, he ends up playing more minutes than do Nunn and Robinson, who started. But do you like the way they're working that? Does Dragic need to be on the floor with Jimmy Butler more than he is right now?
I think it's a testament to Goran Dragic. He's letting Spo try to figure it out. And he knows at the end that Spo can put him right back in the lineup. He's a veteran that some veterans wouldn't let you figure it out. They'll start complaining that they're not starting. He's getting minutes and also he's finishing. But I think he understands winning basketball. Well, probably so at the end. Kendrick Nunn and Tyler Hero is going well. Rookies tend around January hit that wall, so then you can have Dragic coming back. He might be saving his legs. I think Spo is just trying to figure it out, and when you have veterans that allow you to figure it out, it's fantastic.
Yeah, look, I mean, he's basically a starter, okay? You know who the main 5 guys are by who's finishing games. He's been out there for them in those situations all year. It's like watching the Clippers with Lou Williams, you know, sixth man of the year. Look, the guy's not a bench guy. He plays more minutes than the starters. He's in their top 5 guys. It's the same with Goran Dragic here. But what he's allowing him to do, like Smitty said, is he's allowing these young guys to develop. You know, Nunn is out there at the start of games. When Winslow wasn't hurt, he was out there as the starting point guard. Tyler Herro's getting a lot of minutes. When it's time to win games, Goran Dragic will be there for the Heat.
Now, we'll be here to tell you about some amazing things tonight, including you just mentioned Lou Will, bucket getter. Do you know the Heat would have only beaten Dame by 20 tonight? Like the whole team would have beaten Dame by 20. We'll take a look